What's up, Inkie peeps? It's Inkie Quill, and I am on a quest to finish this art journal. I'm very excited to say that since filming this, I have now finished it. So the day that I filmed this, I was just determined. I was on a roll. I filmed this video, which has 3 art journal pages that have all been started with backgrounds, like a use it up journal style. And then I have another video that will probably be up next month or the month after with another one of these, finish the unfinished pages quest. And then there's one more art journal process video, and this baby is done, and boy oh boy am I glad to see it finished. I'll do a final flip through probably on YouTube, either at the end of the year or into the new year. So for this page, I was stumped. You know how I always say that black covers everything up and that it's a great color to use in your art journaling? It is great, except when you have a really vast amount of it and nothing will really work on top of it. And I decided that I needed something to break up this black a little bit. So I grabbed a number stencil from my stash, and I'm actually using white gesso and a makeup sponge today. I've been finding that white gesso has been giving me a much more opaque effect compared to the white dilutions paint that I usually use. So if you've got some gesso around, give it a little play on a stencil and see what you think. It gives a much more crisper look, I find. So then I needed some sort of focal image, and I wanted something big because this page had a lot of numbers. It was getting very busy. I was leaning towards that first image with the girl with the hat, just because it is, I don't know, a bit of a trickier image to use. It is such a large image. But then I saw this one and I cut out this image because I just love these girls' hair. Their hair, I think it may have been an ad for some sort of hair product, but their hair just looks so smooth and silky that I just wanted to cut this image out and include it. And I think by using a black and white image, it really helped the background kind of meld into the photo and not look so big and bold and kind of overpowering, because black is quite an overpowering color. I am still scared of it sometimes, but it's fun to have a test with, and if you don't like it, you can always glue the pages together and no one will know. But this one did work out, thank goodness. I used some matte gel medium to stick that down, and I wanted something on the right hand side because there was just a lot of numbers happening there, and I had this old book page lying on my desk, and so I thought I'd just freehand cut a giant heart out. But then I found it was too cream and just it was standing out a little bit too much. So I grabbed some gesso, and my intention was originally to put some clear gesso on top because this book paper was very, very thin. It was from an older book. So I was going to just use clear gesso and then maybe use some watercolor or acrylic ink or something thin and watery over the top. But then I realized that I had my distress oxides, I was going to call them distress doxides, just off to the side, and I thought I'd try something that I'd seen people do but I hadn't really done myself. So I crumpled it up, gave it some nice little crinkles and crunkles, and just used my foam dauber thing to brush some of the, I think it might be, is it picked raspberry, something with raspberry, distress oxide over the top, and then this one, which is like a corally colour, and it gave it a little bit of colour, and it made it match with that hot pink that was happening on the left hand side, because I don't know, it just needed something to tone down the creamness, I think because the background was black with white text, and then the heart was, you know, a whitey cream with black text. It was just a bit too similar. As I was going through and looking for some focal images, some people to use on this page, I stumbled across this little piece of background. I think I found it in a magazine, and I wanted to used that because I thought it blended in, and it kind of reflected the leafy pattern on the left side so that it didn't stand out so much. And so I had leaf on the left and leaf on the right, and everyone was happy. And I also recently got a package from a beautiful inklet who is one of my Patreon peeps. I'm so sorry if I do not pronounce your name correctly. Is it Yesenia? Yesenia? I'm so sorry. All the way from Puerto Rico. And she sent me this newspaper. It's not tissue paper. It's kind of like tissue paper, deli paper. It's a bit of a mix between the two of them. And I wanted to include that here. So I'm just adding a little heart and then tracing around with my white gel pen. So thank you very much for your parcel. I also received, I meant to thank a lovely inklet as well that sent me a beautiful mug with a bunny on it. So if that was you, thank you very, very much. I still have your little card that you sent, and I don't have your name right in front of me, but thank you very much. It's very cute as well. I decided that this heart just needed all the matte gel medium, so I'm just plonking it everywhere. And because the Distress Oxides, I don't quite know them well. I will admit I haven't had a great chance to play with them, and so I haven't come up with a great way to stop them rubbing off. I don't know if it's because of the crinkles and the crunkles that cause the Distress Oxide to come off a little bit, but it was coming off on my fingers as well. And in another layout I did the same day as this one. It's a layout that you'll see next week. It might be the next video, actually. I used the blue Distress Oxides and my hands turned into Smurfs for the day and I couldn't wipe it off. So if you've got tips on using Distress Oxides, please do let me know, because I'm definitely not experienced in that area at all. So all of the hearts needed a little bit of a doodly border to make them stand out, and I like the contrast of the white doodly border with the black. It's always fun to have a bit of a play with your black and white pens. And then I just felt like this left-hand side was looking a little too dainty, if that's the right word to say. The right-hand side was so bold with the numbers against the black and those big, big hearts that I just decided to go a bit stripe happy. So I grabbed some Posca paint pens, and I was originally just going to do black lines and then in between every second black line to do diagonal lines, if that makes any sense. But I instead kept all my lines going the same direction. I did some dashed ones, and then I pulled out the hot pink, which I think I had been using my pink Posca pen on a colour that had smudged on it because it wasn't as pink as it should have been. So that first line is a little dodgy, but I kept going anyway. So I just did haphazardly some double lines, some single lines, and I think these lines really make the page. It really makes the page pop, and it kind of also makes the doodly borders on the right stand out a little bit as well. So if you ever feel like your page is kind of missing something, try some line work with some paint pens. They're a really great arsenal to have in your stash. Did I say that right? I think I said that the wrong order, but they're really good to have in your stash. And then I wanted just a pop of one other colour because it was looking like it needed a bold punch. And so I grabbed those little yellow heart stickers and then doodled some little yellow hearts. I added a couple of little yellow lines, and then of course I'm doing my sprinkly bits. And this Posca paint pen in particular is without doubt my favourite paint pen in the entire universe. I don't know where I bought it from because I can't find it anywhere, and it's really frustrating. Aussie peeps, does anyone know where you can get a Posca paint pen? They're shorter, they're a stumpier paint pen, and they are super pointy. They have a really fine pointy tip, because if I can find where to get those, I will buy every colour of the rainbow. It is so beautiful to write with. I only have it in hot pink, and I just, for the life of me, have no idea where I got it from. I didn't get it from my local craft store, my local art store. no idea where it popped up from. But yes, adding a few little yellow bits and pieces, and I did go a little bit crazy with the sprinkles. I will admit that, but I was in a bit of a sprinkly mood apparently. I think when I did this layout, you know, when you have an art journal page or a layout or a project in particular that is just driving you crazy that it's not finished, this was that. Because every time I open my art journal, I flip past this page and I had no idea whatsoever what I was going to do with it. And then just to add to the chaos of the sprinkly bits, let's add some splatters. Let's just go crazy with the splat. So I grabbed my white uni chalk texture that I have left over, and it's on its way out, but it's still got a little bit left in it, and I just splat it like crazy. I would not recommend that technique if you are a neat person that doesn't like mess, because boy oh boy, do you get white splatters everywhere. I get them on my face, I get them on my iPad that I'm watching, they go everywhere. So now this page was done, I quickly dried it off camera with my heat gun, and then I knew I had a page somewhere up the front that wasn't completely finished, and it was this one. Now this page, I think I did this after I bought some new paints and I wanted to test out the colours, and I had left this page because I just didn't know what to do next with it. It's not a typical art journal page for me. And so I've been stumped, absolutely stumped. So I thought the easiest way how to tackle this page, tick it off, call it done, one page closer to my quest of finishing this freaking art journal, was just to do a nice quote. So I grabbed my food ball pen and I've sped this up a lot. I just wrote a quote by my favourite, I was going to call her a quoter, my favourite writer, Morgan Harper Nichols. She has a fantastic Instagram that has lots of like motivational things, and I love to use her quotes in my art journals. And this page was done. I could have gone crazy. I will admit, I was very, very, very tempted to do some sprinkly bits. But are you proud, Inklets? I restrained myself and I just left it as is. So then we're on to the last page for today. And this page was really fun. Remember when I painted that large canvas a little while ago? Well, this was actually my paint palette. And you can see here, I did cut out a lot of this process because it was very fiddly. I had another Morgan Harper Nichols quote that I loved. I used my electric typewriter that Archie has broken, so I can only type 30 characters at a time, which is driving me crazy. And I typed up on just some white cardstock and then painstakingly cut every little bit apart. And this took forever. Then off camera, to save you watching me do the same repetitive task for about half an hour, I used my glossy accents and I just stuck all of that down onto the page. This came together. I filmed a studio vlog back in February for YouTube, and it's edited. I've just got to voice over it. I think I'm procrastinating from voicing over because it's a bit of a different type of video and I'm nervous, but I'm hoping to get that done soon. But I actually did the stars in that studio vlog. So I used the background as a paint palette, and then when I used this stencil, I just slapped some white paint on there, doodled around the outside, and so the background was pretty much done. It just needed something to finish it off, and this page is done. So 3 art journal pages, they didn't take long to do, and this journal is closer to being finished. Thanks for joining me today, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!